And joining us now, senior opposition researcher for the Republican National Committee during the 2016 presidential campaign, when he himself vetted Pete Hegseth for a different role, Justin Higgins, and senior editor at The Atlantic and host of Radio Atlantic and the new podcast, We Live Here Now, Hanna Rosin. All right, thank you very much for joining us. Justin, I want to start with you. You vetted Hegseth. Did this stuff come up when you were looking into him?
No, a lot of these allegations happened, after we were vetting him, but also the way we vetted was a political vet. So it was taking public information and searching through all the public records, public statements he's made, financial records, legal statements. And it appears to me, based on my vetting experience, that a lot of these new allegations came from amazing investigative reporting that resulted in tips, in telling the journalists where to look in police records, and resulted in the New Yorker magazine where they received these documents about a whistleblower report. So we didn't see these issues, but we did see how uniquely unqualified he was based on his resume alone.
So you went through public reporting. Tell me why he was uniquely unqualified, and tell me what position you were vetting him for.
Yes, so he was being vetted for a couple undersecretary roles at the DOD, but also Veterans Affairs Secretary and then a few undersecretary roles there. They would give us a list of a person to vet and then also potential positions they were being looked at. The reason was pretty clear, Katie. He has no experience working with Congress on creating and passing a large budget. He has no experience running or working in a large bureaucracy where he's in a senior position in that bureaucracy. And then lastly, military policy experience, i.e., how do we modernize the military in the 21st century with the rise of AI, and also foreign policy experience. This gentleman has none of that.
Let me ask you, I mean, in the Republican Party, to come out and speak against Donald Trump or a decision that he's made, it's a hard thing to do, which is why we're probably not seeing very many Republican senators go so public with any concerns that they might have. Justin, why are you coming on here and telling us about your own vetting and why you thought he was not qualified even for the junior position?
Well, I'm now a Democrat and was a Democratic appointed official, but that's not why I'm coming out. I don't want to subject myself to potential personal attacks from MAGA and the other folks. My father was a veteran in the armed services, and I take national security extremely personally and seriously. And quite frankly, I think that Pete Hegseth is the most scary nominee for a major position that this country could have. Look at what's happening in the Middle East, Ukraine, South Korea right now. We need a Secretary of Defense, regardless of the personal allegations, misconduct potentially. We need somebody that's very serious and very knowledgeable about what they're doing. And quite frankly, that is not Pete Hegseth.
Hanna, I want to ask you about some of the reaction we're getting from Republican senators on the record. I mentioned up top the Wyoming senator saying that this is just wild child behavior. Soldiers are inclined to be this way sometimes. But we also have well, no, that's about Kash Patel. Sorry, I was about to go into another conversation. When you're seeing these senators come out and they're saying, well, it's not so big of a deal, I guess, what is your reaction to advise and consent? They've got to know what they're putting a guy like this in position to handle, the decisions that he is going to need to make. Courtney Kube just outlined that a moment ago.
Yeah, even the fact that we're having a discussion about this particular nominee tells you a lot. This conversation should be about Trump and his relationship to the military, because in any other transition, this person would have been off the table as a nominee immediately. So you have to read the signs underneath the signs, which is what signal is Trump putting out there by putting forth this person who everybody understands is not only just unqualified and has never run an agency like this, but has all of these characterological defects that would put him out of the running for lower positions. So why? Why is the question? What message is Trump sending to the military that he is essentially going to disregard what their needs and requirements are?
I guess why? What is the answer to that, Hanna?
The answer to that is that Trump has had a contentious relationship with many prominent military leaders who have publicly criticized him, and they have a lot of authority to do that, such as Mark Milley. And so I think he's sending a message that you cannot get away with this. I will put my person in charge of this agency. I will wreak chaos on this agency, and people will be answerable to me. That's the only way you could read a nominee like this, who's just obviously not qualified for the position.
I want to play Jason Miller, a senior Trump advisor who spoke about Pete Hegseth, tried to defend the nomination on CNN this morning. Let's listen.
When it comes to Pete Hegseth, there aren't any concerns, and we feel very good about his positioning for being confirmed by the Senate. Now, we have to take the process very seriously. This is one of the rare times where you're going to hear me say that the process when it comes to this is very important, and that's because the Senate takes it so serious to go and have the one-on-one meetings, to have these confirmation hearings, to give senators the chance to kick the tires and get some of these questions answered on their own. Pete Hegseth is someone who's been shot at in combat. That's exactly the type of person that we want leading the DOD before any commitment is made to put our troops in harm's way.
There's not going to be, or at least there has not yet been, an FBI vetting. We just heard Justin talk about the public vetting that he did. But the FBI is going to go a whole lot deeper, even than, our friend Jane Mayer, the New Yorker, can go, even though she's an exceptional investigative reporter. Do you foresee that being an issue with any Republicans in the Senate? I'm sure Democrats are going to raise it, but if there's no FBI vetting of these nominees, including Hegseth, can you imagine that the Republicans are all going to just say okay to that?
I mean, you have to think of levels of credibility. Maybe the media is easy to dismiss. The Republicans can easily get away with saying, oh, that's just the left-wing media. What institution would they trust? I mean, would they trust a report from the FBI? A lot of the people criticizing Pete Hegseth were Republicans, a lot of people from the veteran organizations. But I think if there's any kind of legitimate vetting and more details come out, they'll be really hard to dismiss.